5 things you should never, ever, ever put on your application. And if you want to prove it's like this, like this, like this one, or like this, or even like this one, I'm going to give you the game step by step. So you already know what time it is. Let's get right into it. So in today's video, I'm going to break down 5 things you should never write on your application, right? Also, I'm going to cover the prerequisites before you even apply for an application, what you need to make sure you're doing before you apply for anything. Also, people always forget this one thing. And if you stay till the end, I'm going to give you that one thing that people always forget and always get denied because they forgot to check. First things first, before you even apply for a credit card, make sure, I can't stress this, make sure you check your credit profile, right? Make sure you check it, right? Because every bank don't pull from every credit bureau. So make sure you check all 3 credit reports. Make sure you have at least a 720 or higher. If you have a 680, most of the times you'll get approved depending on what bank you apply for. However, just make sure your credit score is decent. Next, make sure you don't have no recent missed payments, right, within the last 24 months, because you'll probably most likely get denied. Make sure you didn't have a recent collection, because if you do, you'll most likely get denied. Also, make sure that your utilization is below 10%. I know everybody say 30%, that's average. You can get approved, however, if it's below 10%, your approval odds will shoot up, right? Also, make sure you don't have too many hard inquiries within the last 3 to 6 months, right? Make sure you don't have too many hard inquiries, because if you have too many hard inquiries, you will get denied because you are looking thirsty, right? So make sure you don't have too many hard inquiries. Also, make sure you have no repossession, collections, charge-offs, none of those derogatory bankruptcies within the last 24 months as well. Just make sure everything is clean on your credit report before you even apply for anything. This will set you up for success when applying. But let's get into the 5 things you should never put on your application. First thing, right? Your address. Your address, you need to be living at your address for at least a year, right? When it comes to applying for things, the underwriters and the AI will automatically deny you sometimes, because if you've been living all over the place and you don't have at least 1 or 2 years history when it comes to your address, you can get denied because you're looking like you're moving all around the place. You don't have no stability. So banks like stability, so make sure you've been living at your address for at least a year, right? Just, at least a year. 24 months or better. The longer you've been living, the better, because it looks like you have stability when it comes to applying for credit cards. Also, number two, you need to make sure your income, right? Your income, you put a decent amount on your income. I'm gonna tell you what to put, but don't put a little bit and don't put a lot. If you have more than 1 person in your house, it says household income. That means the household, right? That means everybody in the house. If everybody's making, 20, 30, 40, put it all together and add it to the application, right? The more money that you quote unquote make, the better, right? So as a household, not just 1 person, right? That's number 3, right? Make sure you put a job on your application. Put a job. Don't say you're unemployed. Don't say you're retired, right? You're always making money. If you're not looking like you're making no money, why would the banks lend you credit? Why would they do it? Because they want to make sure they're getting paid back. The banks are looking out for themselves, right? They want to make sure they are giving, or if they're lending credit, they want to make sure that you're going to be able to pay them back. So make sure you have a job on your actual application. Job, business, whatever, right? Just make sure you add something. Don't say you don't work nowhere, because most likely you'll get denied, even if you have your own business, right? The business name. Also, number 4, some people don't realize, but they get denied based off of them putting a P.O. box on the application. So make sure you have a physical address, business address, whatever. Make sure they can actually receive the card, don't put it at a PO box, because what that looks like is it looks high risk to the lender. So make sure you don't put a PO box. Put your physical address or business address or address that's not have a PO box, right? Just make sure you do not put a PO box on your application, because you most likely get denied. So number 5, most people forget this part, but try to actually open up an account with the actual bank that you're applying for, right? Savings account, checking account, because a relationship is way better than a new person that's just applying. So create that relationship with the bank, because you'll most likely get approved. But I ain't gonna say you get denied, but if you can, create that relationship first with the bank before you apply for for any of those credit cards that you're looking to apply for. There's one thing that people always forget is checking their credit profile for a fraud alert. Make sure you call Experian, make sure you call TransUnion, make sure you call Equifax, because if you have a fraud alert on your credit profile, you'll likely get denied. I'm telling you, you'll likely get denied. So make sure you remove the fraud alerts off your credit report, so you can go ahead and get, when you're applying for any credit cards or sequence of credit cards, you won't get denied because you have fraud alerts. So make sure when you apply for anything, make sure you remove a fraud alert, because sometimes they add it and you don't even know why they add it. They get added because the address you living at had fraud attached to it. There are different variables on why you'll have a fraud alert on your credit profile, but call in and make sure the fraud alert is off. And if it's on and you want to keep it on, make sure you have a phone number on that fraud alert, because they're going to call that phone number and make sure this person is you, that you're actually applying for that credit card. So remove all fraud alerts to increase your chances to get approved for any credit card. And if you have bad credit, right? If you have bad credit, make sure you watch this video right here. How to fix or how to remove anything off your credit report, how to fix bad credit. Just watch this video right here, and I'm gonna show you how to get things removed off your credit report.